Guys, I want to go into this next part of a session where I want to talk about Bored Ape Yacht Club, let you guys know what's new, what's exciting, and pretty much everything else.
It's a growth hack, and it should help as far as,
So I am in here. We got the whole gang going on. I got to pop everybody out and look at all of the lovelies. Guys, thanks so much for taking the time to come chat today. So on the screen, we got NFTs, Anonymous, JVB, and then I also, who else is in here? We got Ronster, and then NGB, X Ben, who's another person in the space. I think pretty much every single one of us is from Top Shot. Is that correct?
I am,
Yeah.
so I think so.
Yep, and originally, 100%.
Awesome, awesome. Love it. Ronster, how are we doing today?
Good, man. Good.
Good, good. All right, Ben.
I got on camera for you.
Hey, love it, love it.
Hey.
Ben, can you just talk for a minute? Because I just want to check your volume levels real quick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Is everything good?
Yeah, you are good. Okay, cool. So, guys, and everybody in the chat, I kind of want to open this up, and whatever you guys want to talk about, we're here to kind of, explain it, chat about it. Ultimately, the thing with the Bored Ape Yacht Club is it's a bunch of avatars you've seen on Twitter. For Billy Bounce and anybody that doesn't happen to have Twitter, basically it's an avatar. In this NFT space, we've noticed that there's a lot of people that, are looking to have kind of an identity. Some people are comfortable with having their own face. Well, I think most of us are like, hey, if we have like a really cool image, whatever it may be, then that's kind of what we're choosing. And I think a lot of people have decided that, CryptoPunks, for those early adopters, is what they're going to use as their profile picture, and those guys are set, they love it, and they'll kind of forever be, the early CryptoPunk holders. And for me, and I'm curious your guys' thoughts on this, is I think there's a lot of, specifically younger people that are getting into the NFT space right now, where we don't have a whole lot of money, but we've done decently well in the NFT space over the past couple weeks, couple months, and this is the first project we've all kind of really collectively clicked on. I don't know if it's because we're of the same mindset, because we also clicked for NBA Top Shot or something different, but do you guys see this as kind of another status symbol or similar to CryptoPunks?
Yes, I do. And I think that they're a lot more aesthetically pleasing than CryptoPunks. I feel that they do a better job at encapsulating the range, encompassing the range of human personality, right? We've seen it. So many of us see an ape that we click with. We'll see a bunch, we're like, that one's cool and I like that. But when you see that one, it's kind of that light bulb moment, right? And you identify with it. And as for being more aesthetically pleasing, at least to my tastes, if you'll remember a couple months ago, earlier on in the life cycle, the lifespan of this stream, so many people were baffled by how much money CryptoPunks were fetching on CryptoSlam. Because for a lot of people, Top Shot was their first introduction to NFTs, right? And we would get on CryptoSlam and be like, oh, this LeBron sold for 250K. And then we'd be like, this CryptoPunk sold for $1 million. I could make it in Microsoft Paint. So I think that the evolution of these avatar-based NFTs has really reached a point where it's something that everyone can feel good about it and unite around it.
Yeah, I think I'm there with you. I mean, I think people are looking at the apes, as something that could potentially be the next CryptoPunks. People are really vibing with it. They really like it. They're all unique, which is, I think, the big difference with Top Shot, right? You have a moment and like 10,000 other people have that same moment. With this one, no matter which one you have, whether it's the most expensive one, the cheapest one, the most common traits, it doesn't matter. No two are exactly the same. So no matter what, you've got your own little status symbol, whatever it may be, expensive or not.
I'm curious for you guys with the way that the pricing structure has been, is because originally when we kind of jumped into this, I think I want to say like almost all of us. I know some people bought some other ones afterwards, similar to myself. But we went and we decided we were going to take kind of a stab at something that we think is really, really cool. And then we started to see some of these other bigger players jump in, and it went from, we think these are cool, to, holy crap, there might be a huge financial incentive in this for it. So do you guys think that we should be looking at this from, hey, they are still cool, or potentially from the financial standpoint, because we've seen what, some of these were selling for. Because I was in an auction yesterday, almost ended up paying like $10,000 for one.
For me personally, I think there's probably short term not going to be that much financial upside anymore. I think that there was the big hype, a big bump, a big pump and everything, and the prices went kind of nuclear for a little bit. Again, not relative to CryptoPunks because we didn't even touch those levels yet, but for especially the prices that they were at, I mean, 0.08 is what they minted at, and punks were going for like 5, 6, 7, 8 all the time. Is one thing. What I think is going to happen with them is that the range between the cheap ones and the expensive ones is going to narrow. What you were seeing, on day 2 is the floor started to get up to 0.5, and the really expensive ones were going for 10 times that, 15 times that at 5 or 7.5 ETH. I think what's going to happen is the floor, let's say, settles down at 0.2, 0.3. I don't know what the number is, but the more expensive ones will be 0.6, 0.7. They might be 2x, 3x the cost of the cheap ones, and then the really premium ones might be 1, 2, and then maybe some super unique ones are a little bit more. But I think that the gap between the cheap ones and the expensive ones is really going to narrow.
Yeah, and Anonymous, for you, I know you ended up pulling like a pretty damn good one with the trippy, the bubble, and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that for you, is that okay? You've defined, okay, that's going to be my avatar photo forever here on the internet? Because for me, I think with the one that I just picked up last night, the one that's my profile, I'm wanting to go with that. I'm taking that stance right now. That could change in the future for sure. But do you love your one as much as that, or do you think that you're just using it right now because it's kind of like the hot new thing?
So, at first, right, because I had minted 3 of the Bored Apes initially at retail, which was 0.08 ETH, and then the following day, expecting that they still would be available at that price, they were sold out. 10,000 of them sold out, and I was shocked. So, initially, I go on OpenSea, I'm looking at the different at the market, at the different options available, and I think a lot of us were in such shock and like in this exploration phase that there were good deals to be found left and right if you knew what you were looking for. So ultimately, I did some quick research and I discovered some of the more rare traits that I was looking for. And I was able to secure this trippy cyborg ape with the unshaven bubble gum, which is 3 different traits that are all 1% or lower of the 10,000 apes. And I secured that for 1 ETH, which I think was a bargain. At first, I wasn't attached to my ape as far as its character or personality. And I have to be honest, it's only grown on me ever since. And similar to what JVB and Ronster were saying before, as far as these have personality, these have really a different aesthetic available for anyone that wants to get in, that you'll find an ape that suits you. And so while yes, there's definitely a financial element to it long term, I will put it out there right now. My ape is listed at 50 Ethereum on OpenSea. And I believe that according to one of the rarity tools, right, I have a top 1% ape in the top 10 of all 10,000 apes. And I believe that is possibly even selling my ape short, I should say. I look at these as definitely having all of the right criteria, and it's not only about the personality and the design of the art itself, but one thing we haven't touched on yet is there's utility to these as well. There's a great community behind these, but also they're discussing breeding as something down the line of their roadmap that they have discussed. The devs who are very active in their Discord community, and they've also talked about the possibility of a DAO being formed, which really is going to give these apes more utility than what we have seen from some other popular NFT projects out there. I've been in a few clubhouses recently, and they have discussed, it's called Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? who's to say that's not going to turn into a real
actual
world
yacht.
club? Like, it's going to have that membership, and people may not only be looking to market their apes for the art and for the NFT itself, but also the utility behind it.
So I want to bring in Ben for this next one. Regarding the utility and everything, do you think that that is something that potentially a lot of people are undervaluing, or do you think with the fact that they've, taken off in such a quick span here that it's like, okay, breeding and all that kind of stuff's going to be good. We might have utility, but it's probably going to be, a few months out type deal.
I honestly think every time they, drop some news or make progress with the roadmap, I think, it'll really cause like another hype cycle. I think right now everybody is just, meshing with their apes. It's all about, what you like, what you recognize with, what you connect with. But I honestly do think once, they start adding, breeding is crazy because right now the community is kind of, there's a floor, so people have bought in. They don't want to sell under that, 0.2 ETH. I don't think we've seen any apes like really go super, super low. So I do think that, has a chance to really, really expand the community, add new people in, and we'll see.
Well, it's just funny to see. I don't know if you guys looked at like the floor apes, but like 9 times out of 10, they're just not really that desirable at all. But I really think the ones that have personalities in a way do. And this is kind of like open to anybody, but like, why do you think that of all art projects, this is the one that people have clicked to? Because this isn't the first time this has happened. This isn't, anything necessarily like special or different. Well, I mean, like, it is special to us in a way, but there's been a lot of other art renditions that's come out like this. Why is this one in particular what we're connecting to?
I honestly think a couple things with this one. Like, one, I mean, me, you, a handful of other people, I think we got in pretty early. Like, I was one of the first 500 that were minted. And I think the thing is that I just liked it. I thought it was really clean. It was really cool. And the sale process that they did was just a fair sales process. They said it's going to be 0.08 ETH all the way through. I really don't like necessarily the projects that are like, oh, get in now and it's 0.02, but it's going to go up to like 2 ETH, because what happens is just ends up stagnant towards the end or something like that. Which we're seeing with other projects like Collective, which I think is another really cool project, but the last 500 packs are just sitting there because they're at 0.75 ETH, which is, like 2-3 grand almost to buy into. So I think that was the main thing. And then when it really blew up, I mean, I went to bed thinking, all right, I bought one, maybe I'll buy another one tomorrow if there's like 1,500, 2,000 sold, and I think that the hype's picking up. And then all the big CryptoPunks guys and a bunch of the other NFT guys, I guess, tweeted about it overnight. I woke up and all 10,000 are gone. I went, all right, well, there it goes. I'm probably not going to be able to get another one. But what was really interesting to see is before those guys tweeted, and before the apes were actually revealed, once they finally got revealed, people were actually selling their apes for under floor. They got one like under what they paid. There were apes going for 0.06, 0.05 for the first 20 minutes because people got an ape they didn't like. They bought into another one. So the people who got it initially, it definitely wasn't a financial incentive. I know mine was, and I thought, oh, I'll get one cool ape. If it does well for me, cool. If not, whatever. I like having this. But over time, I think all the speculators jumped in. It's the same thing as Top Shot. It just happened a lot faster. Top Shot, for months you could make money in there. Here you can make money for the first 2 days. We'll see where it ends up down the line. But right now, you're getting a lot more collectors in there. I think the same thing is going to happen with the apes. You're going to have a lot more collectors coming in because right now I think there's less than 3,000 unique collectors. There's still way more room for a lot more people to join in.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to add to... Oh,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
One thing I wanted to add to that was you had mentioned as far as, your Twitter, your profile picture, and similar mine right now is an ape, as is probably over... Like, I'm not even exaggerating. I would say there's over 1,000 to 2,000 profile pictures right now on Twitter that are apes. And what I find to be different from that than, say, another project like CryptoPunks is this is not to stereotype all CryptoPunk holders, but I will say from my experience, a lot of them are very independent. They're kind of promoting their own platform. They're not really a tight-knit community the same way as what I'm seeing from Bored Apes, where Bored Apes, in my opinion, almost seems like a redemption for the quote unquote average Joe when it comes to they may have been a little late to the party with NFTs. And now they feel like this is something that they can get behind that has long-term utility and potential in this whole NFT, ecosystem. And ultimately, just that it's more collaborative from what I'm seeing, as far as everyone, who has an ape is following other apes. Whereas I didn't necessarily get that same type of vibe from CryptoPunks. It seemed more about the clout than the community.
I think one of the other weird things on this, and JVB, talking to you directly here for this one, is we've seen different art projects pop up. And for me personally, when I ever seen something that was similar to this, we'll use the term like knockoff CryptoPunks. So we've seen, Picasso punks, Stone Age punks, whatever. I'm like, okay, it just seems that like people are wanting to shill their own project. And I personally didn't really respect it or care for it whatsoever, and just thought this is stupid. Being in this ape scene, we've seen so many projects get brought up, and I've tried to foster a, hey, you're doing like a project that's about apes? Hell yeah, like I want my ape done in like a cool way. We've brought them in the Discord. Everybody I've talked to is super cool. We had Jay Snow this morning doing the art in the Discord, and it seems like, as Anonymous has said, like it's a community, it's a redemption, it's coming together for the greater good, and like it's an army in a way. So I'm just kind of wondering your thoughts in terms of the vibe for the community, because I don't think this has been matched anywhere else in the NFT scene.
Yeah, I mean, I have a separate Twitter account that I made for my ape's personality because he's wearing the same type of cowboy shirt with the roses that Burt Reynolds wore as the Bandit in Smokey and the Bandit, and I'm fully on board with that personality. And I keep missing things on Twitter because I'm not logging into mine. I'm on Bandit's Twitter, and I didn't do that for Top Shot. I think that a lot of the, I guess people are calling them derivatives, right, of the apes that people are coming up with are incredible. Some of them look really wonderful. The artists who have been putting out work, like the artists in our chat earlier today, they're really talented individuals. They've been professional artists for years and years, and they've gravitated towards the space too, which I think is really nice. I think maybe some people, I don't know, from the outside looking in, right, to the layperson, a lot of people didn't really get CryptoPunk, so I guess we didn't get the CryptoPunk derivatives, the baby CryptoPunks, the crypto baby punks, the Picasso punks, the baby Picasso punks, whatever. And now that we're on the inside with apes, we like it. So that's kind of a tough question for me to answer. Because like in one situation, you're on the outside looking in, and on the other one, you're inside, right? So I think the derivatives are cool. I really enjoy the way that the Bored Ape Yacht Club has given the people who own the apes rights over the art, so they can control merchandising, they can control the art that gets put out. So if someone does make an NFT with the likeness of your ape, in theory you should be able to get royalties from that. So I am a fan of that. And the community is so full of positive energy. Everyone's vibing, everyone's supporting each other, trying to help each other, and I absolutely love the kinship that is among all of us apes.
Yeah, I think it's great as well. And sorry, guys, I haven't been looking at the chat too much here, but X Baby, hello. Thanks so much for the follow. And I'm assuming you got an ape too, just based off the way you're talking. So love it. I love some of the derivatives, but how do we balance token holders' commercial privileges? So that's a good question. And I guess, Ben, we'll kind of jump over to you here for a quick, and then we'll kind of do like a round table or whatever. But like we are seeing people start doing stuff with the apes. I'm assuming some of the starter ones, most of the artists that I've talked to actually don't own an ape, because I've asked them, I've said like, hey, feel free to join the server to get into like the special ape chat, which guys, if you do own a ape and you are in my Discord, it's discord.gg/Schiller. You'll be able to go to the bot command, do !join, and then it will check to make sure that you have one, and then you'll have access to the chat. But for the commercial rights, like I've had people message me saying, hey, like I want to use your photo as my profile. JVB, I'd absolutely love the hat. And then it's off as quick as it went on. And I don't know, like, is there a way to police this at all? Or is it just kind of we're sitting back, relaxing, and going to enjoy it? People
sell them for, 0.001 ETH. We could all, just decide that's not something we want to support. Me personally, I think all the derivatives, all the alt apes, whatever, I think it's good for the community because it empowers collectors. But I'm one of those people that I actually do hit them up and I see if they do own ape, if they actually own ape or they've actually reached out to the owners of the apes that they're making derivatives of. I respect those type of projects, So there have been a couple that do, and I went ahead. I've grabbed like a little, I guess it's a baby punk ape. It's not really. I've seen there's a couple, and this guy did tell me he's reaching out to the ones that that he's making, and they gave him permission. So to me, those are the kind of projects that I think will thrive. My favorite thing with these apes are I truly think it empowers creators. You could do so much things. When they finally give us the IP for our art, you could put them on decals. You can put them on shirts. We have our own little NGB brand, so that's what we do.
Hey, there we
Never
go,
going
baby.
broke, so we put our stuff on everything, man. So I can't wait till I can put my ape on my on the back of my shirt and walk around and people will be like, "What's that?" I'm like, it's the yacht club, baby. So,
Hey Ben, someone wrote in chat, whoever's sitting in that Marvel chair looks like a young Gary V, and it gets me excited for the moon, baby.
I'm not a hype though. I'm not a hype beast. Don't worry. I love this product.
And then Charge Up, we also have the ultimate marketing tool as official apes promoting the projects that actually reach out and respect that structure going forward will incentivize artists to continue doing it. And yeah, so like full disclosure, certain projects that have reached out to me that I've like retweeted, one of them being the Bored Ape head. That one I absolutely love. And I was like, hey, like, if you want to do one for me, like I'll definitely like help you out. And then he gave me like a little bit of a discount on it, and I was like, okay, cool. And I think that the openness of this is really, really cool. And so NFT Anonymous, I want to kind of go to you for this next one because I know you've done communities doing stuff with Zed. You've got Top Shot, kind of everything else. For you mentioned earlier for the community aspect. What do you think's the most important thing for us as people that are now kind of in the space that people are looking at, need to be aware of, and like kind of lead the charge on?
Well, I would say you really just have to focus on collaboration and really letting everyone's voice be heard, right? So, going back to the derivatives, at least with the ones that I've participated in, which thank you for kind of pointing me in the direction of Abstract Bored Ape, is that correct? No, Bored Ape. No. You pointed me in the direction of Bored Ape Head.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, Bored Ape Head, which he's going to be working on for me tomorrow. I'm really excited. And going back to what JVB said, I think that I share a similar sentiment as far as I never had a CryptoPunk. I could not afford a CryptoPunk, but I do have a Bored Ape that I'm really attached to now. And so therefore, I was inclined to have derivatives of it that I wanted to invest in as well. Not for the financial element, just because I like my Bored Ape and I think that the other stuff looks cool to complement it. And I think what I've seen from, for example, Graffiti Bored Ape Yacht Club is one of the ones that I have, art from that relates to or emulates my Bored Ape, my OG Bored Ape. And there's been other projects that have presented themselves in that Discord community. And instead of it getting hostile and there being animosity, everyone is welcoming and is being like, there's room for all apes and there's room for all ape derivatives in this ecosystem. And we really want to build each other up as opposed to tearing each other down. And we want to do everything we can to avoid creating division. And I think that if we can keep that focus, that the sky is the limit for this entire project and community.
It seems that most people are pretty supportive of it as well. I've seen some people on like the space be kind of like negative about the project, but I think that's similar to pretty much like anything on the board. But in terms of like the rollout, and I guess this is thrown out to everybody, how long do you think it takes for us to get, you know, this merchandise? Because they said the other day that they were like sourcing somebody for it and then going into, you know, the mutations, breeding, whatever. How long do you think we are in like a timeline for?
If I had to guess, I think for the merch, it's going to be fairly quick. I don't think it's going to be like 5 minutes, but I think probably give it a week or something like that. You'll have the merch. On the breeding, I think it's going to be a while. I mean, I was pretty active in the Discord, and people are really scared. You know, when you're spending, you said you almost bought an ape yesterday for 10 grand, right? The last thing that you want is for them to go, oh yeah, we're going to breed these apes. There's going to be like 100,000 more of them. They're going to be this. They're going to be that. You want to make sure that you preserve the value for, you know, their initial investors or collectors, however you want to look at them. And they said they're going to be asking the community, getting their feedback, trying to get people involved, and they're going to want to come up with something that people are going to be happy with. So I mean, people were talking about having a burn mechanic where you got to get rid of your 2 apes to get 1 new ape. I don't know if that'll happen, but that'd be interesting. Other people are talking about it'll be on a completely different chain where you breed your ape and it's on a completely different network or something like that. We'll see how they do it with crypto kitties, right? You can have as many as you want, infinite number of them. We'll see. But if they do that, one challenge that I think they'll run into is the same thing with crypto kitties. When gas goes crazy, breeding becomes a problem, right? People were trying to do stuff today with the apes, and because of meebits and because of ETH prices and all that, it costs $100 for any transaction. So got to watch out for that.
Sorry, I just hope that everyone that invests in apes takes profit. Hopefully you bought multiple. If you can be free rolling with ape money, that's freaking awesome. And yeah, I think there's a lot of people that bought multiple ones for it. So I'm curious for you guys, how many did you end up picking up on the night of launch? Because I grabbed like 22 or something. Like I was sitting there noticing, and then I saw Pranksy in the Discord, and I was like, okay. And then we just had all these big players. So for you guys, how many did you pick up on launch night?
Whale alert.
We got 3 for Anonymous. Okay, cool.
I was only able to get the 1 because I went to bed and they all sold out.
Yeah, I meant to 4. I honestly was not feeling the ones I was getting. So I was like, yeah, let me just try my luck in the later serials and close my eyes for like 4 hours, and the rest is history.
Well, one thing that's
Pretty much, yeah.
kind of interesting with that, just to talk about, is I don't know if you guys like checked out their site, but they really didn't show much of what they look like, and I think that was good, because if we seen what some of those ones look like, holy shit, we'd just be hitting that reroll button, because some of them were really, really cool. But sorry, Dante, you're saying the ape reading very hard because of the sorry, that's Kaz. Hold on, Dante, you just said something and I missed it. Sorry, breeding mechanics require programming and finesse, so it'll definitely take time since the idea itself is in early stages. Yeah, for sure. Jeremy, yeah, different contract address, like they do the honorary Bored Apes, which are also very, very cool. Jay Berm, you bought one, traded out today for a better, and made my investment back. Hell yeah, dude. Dante Burning, you bought 17. Oh my god, he got 3 when he went to sleep. Kaz, ape breeding very hard because if the count doesn't go up, the rarity will change. Well, the thing with breeding, like, broad question, are you guys excited for breeding, or do you think that it's going to be a problem?
I like it. I'm actually a part of this thing called 3D Kitties. It's just a whole spin-off. Like, shout out to Dapper Labs, all that. And they actually breed their 3D kitties. But the 3D kitties that they breed get created in a different collection called the bred cats, like the cats that are bred. So it actually doesn't affect the original ones that were minted. So it's a little different. I mean, I'm not sure if that's what they're going to do. If they're going to, cut it off at the OG 10K and then just have everything else as, bred or, non-Genesis apes. But it'll be interesting to see. I do think that's further down the line, though, sadly, because honestly, from what the team is saying, they didn't expect this. So, they made that roadmap because they had that plan for later down the line, and it kind of just blew up in, 12 hours. So I do think we'll probably see, that come in maybe a couple months. I wouldn't be surprised if it does take a little while.
I think that with certain NFT projects, like Zed, for instance, that because it's in beta and because there are so many horses and the people who are in it have so many horses and they can still be purchased for reasonable prices, that it's okay to make tweaks to breeding, right? But with the apes, I hope that they spend a lot of time behind the scenes doing alphas, doing betas, trying to really grind over the breeding algorithms, and figuring out any bugs that can pop up and getting things absolutely nailed, because there is so much riding on the breeding, I think, that it has to be right. So I'm fine waiting. I'm absolutely fine waiting for it. As long as when they roll it out, it's as good as we all hope.
Yeah, Jeremy, you're saying it has to go in a different collection. They won't add to the 10,000 out there. Yeah. If they don't add to the 10,000 to something different, then, I mean, it's cool if there's like an official spin-off in a way, similar to how, if you know, like The Walking Dead, they had, I forget what the show was. But there was another one that was kind of like a spin-off for
On
it,
the West Coast.
and it's still cool, but it's a completely different show. So I'm curious how that does. But that might not necessarily add any value to us if we're looking at it saying, hey, well, maybe I can end up getting, you know, like Anonymous's trippy skin with my multicolored grills, and if we pair them together, can we get that super rare one and potentially end up getting the one that's in like that jail outfit that they have for like 100 ETH right now? And something I noticed is for the one that I'm using as my profile, which is like a small one right here, but if you check Twitter, you can see it in a bigger light, is I made a bid on it. The guy had it listed for 5 ETH. I put in a bid for 1.5 and they took it. And I'm like, wow, okay.
I saw that tweet. Congrats.
Thanks, dude. I think there's a way, like right now, if you're wanting to get in and you're like, I want to spend one because you're in the mindset of me, where I say this is forever going to be my internet status symbol thing that I'm going to use. I love this project. I'm really, really connected to it. And if you're in that mindset, I think that if you go and look at some of these bigger ones, even if the bid's pretty high, you can put stuff lower and people will like definitely accept it.
Just to add to that, two things. One, you had said, you know, combining the trippy fur and the trippy teeth. What if you combine through breeding the trippy fur and the cheetah fur? So now we're talking about the DMT and the cheetah. Yeah, exactly. Like those are the type of breeding things that excite me, because that might create an entire new tier of rarity. And one other thing I wanted to mention was you keep on talking about, you know, for example, your avatar, your profile picture. And I'm also in support of that, of keeping my profile picture Bored Ape indefinitely. And the reason why is because going back to CryptoPunks, because a lot of people are making that comparison with this project just based off, I mean, right before Meebits came up, Bored Ape was number 2 in the OpenSea rankings right behind CryptoPunks. And that happened in a very short period of
Oh, sorry, I think we might have lost NFT Anonymous in there. We'll see if we end up getting his connection back. Ron, sir, we've seen a lot of people add like OW to the end of their name, or RS for RuneScape, or TS for Top Shot. Do you think that we get BAYC on the end of usernames coming soon?
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible. I mean, again, a lot of people in the Discord, they really love it. Like with all these projects, you're going to have people who are in it to buy and flip. You have a lot of people who just like the project, a lot of people who believe in it, who are going to sit there long term. You know, they don't care that the floor was 0.5, now it's 0.3, next week it's 0.7. You know, it doesn't matter to them. They're sitting there, they've got the apes that they like, they'll hold them for a year, 2 years. Maybe they end up like CryptoPunks. You know, maybe Bitcoin is trading at 20,000 next year. Nobody knows. Maybe it's 1 million, right? So I think whenever you go into any of these projects, you got to just go into them. I'm willing to lose this money. I'm happy to spend this. I like the art. I like the project, whatever it is. And then you're not going to be disappointed. But all that to say that a lot of people in this community, I don't think a lot of them are necessarily investors. I think it was a small number of people. Most people actually like it. So I think you'll definitely see some BAYCs in people's names, like people have .eth or .nft or whatever. I think it's much more of a community, like everyone else said.
For sure. And Pistol Pete, talking about the mutations, pretty sure they're going to do different collections with the mutants. Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm just, because we don't like 100% know what that looks like, so it's all kind of like just adding to some speculation, figuring it out. But I think it'll be fun either way, and we get a lot of speculative stuff, which is kind of cool for that one.
I would love Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I would love if they changed the theme. So if you breed them and it's the mutant apes, but it suddenly becomes mutant ape country club, and all of a sudden instead of nautical themes, they're like tennis players or golf players. I think that would be hilarious.
Hell yeah, it'll be real good. P-Boy, I don't think breeding can blend furs like Trippy and DMT. Any combinations of the same thing, like two furs combined, would need to be manually drawn by hand. Even neutral style transfer can't blend stuff without human modification and still look good. Yeah, for sure. But we have no idea. I think there's a lot of ways that we could kind of collectively come up with as a community just to get our minds rolling and look at all of that jazz, which is good. But so the Meebits thing happened yesterday, which some people are saying affected the price of apes. For me, number one, they were very expensive. Number two, had like absolutely zero emotional attachment to it whatsoever. I've seen a lot of people with similar sentiments. CryptoPunk community, Pranksy went absolutely hard on it, as they should. But, I mean, do you guys have any thoughts on the Meebits launch that happened?
I don't love it, to be honest with you. I think the fact that they gave away free Meebits to everyone who had a CryptoPunk or an autoglyph. Generally, I'd say, okay, that's cool. I like that. Like, for example, what Top Shot did with the Crypto Kitties, they said, okay, people own this, so everyone who owned that got a moment. With this, it's like, I think it's such a bad look because you're going, okay, people who were able to afford like $100,000 CryptoPunk or whatever, we're gonna reward those people by giving them something free in our new project. Oh, and by the way, we're charging almost 10 grand just to get into the new project. I think it's a bad look. They really didn't broaden anything. I mean, great for them. They made a ton of money. I think they minted 10,000 of them at about 2.5 ETH. So the dev team made 75 million bucks. Good for them. They haven't been profiting off of CryptoPunks, but I don't think that there's anything that the average person is really going to be able to get into. So it's too bad, but the project, to me, it doesn't even look that exciting. I mean, look at Voxies, which are printing for 0.08. I honestly think that project looks more exciting and better than Meebits.
I personally just think they had a target audience. I really think they were just targeting crypto OGs, the people that really have influence in the space. I really don't think. I don't know. I just don't think the people that were, I have seen some people with apes and Meebits, but I really think it's just a whole nother audience. Honestly, like me, I was thinking about getting one if it was going to drop to a respectable price.
But
like
okay, so
2.5 ETH.
With that said, what was the drive that you had of, hey, I'm picking this up? Was it a financial incentive, or did you actually want to own one of them?
I truly, truly wanted to mint one and just see if it would look like me. I guess that's just it. Like, honestly, I really connect with all my apes. I've already, profited on, my floor apes that I picked up and flipped and all that. So now I'm just in it because I love, the art. Truly, like it's really unique. And then the Meebits, to me, I mean, it's like that's really not my style, but I seen one that looked just like Kevin Durant. And there was a Kobe Bryant one, honestly,
Yep.
number 8.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was going for 80. So if I would have pulled something like that, I would have liked it. But then again, we'll see if they actually have utility. People are kind of hyping them like they'll have utility in different metaverses. You can put some shoes on them, stuff like that. But like I said, I personally think LeVar Labs was just targeting the crypto G's with that drop.
I agree. I think there was a LaMelo Ball one too. If you guys didn't see that,
True,
someone
I
posted it on Twitter.
I've seen it.
LaMelo. I could echo everything that Ronster said, right? Because I agree with the majority of his points. I thought that giving it for free to Punks holders and the starting price at 2.5, I don't vibe with either of those. But the thing that really agitated me about them was the fact that they did they did a couple deconstructed ones, right? Or not dissected ones. Sorry, not deconstructed. A couple dissected ones where they were clear on the outside and it showed their internal organs. And to me, that's like a cause bear brick IP. Like, you just don't do that. Like, cause is the dissected OG, and it felt, I don't know, it felt dirty to me. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of that one. But sorry, Baby Kobe, you're saying, assuming people bought in for the apes as avatars, that means that 1.2K would be locked in for right now. So there is a lot of people that I've talked to that ended up going pretty ham within the project. So I totally am aware that there is like the problem that there are people out there that if they decide, hey, I want to get rid of a bunch of these ones, you can. For the most part right now, I think there's a lot of people that are consolidating, moving the apes that they don't really like, because ultimately I think this project, people are wanting to get ones that they really vibe with. For the people that are kind of like priced out in a way, they'll be like, okay, I'll take whatever I can get. So in the short term, if you're kind of sitting there waiting, being like, hey, I hope that I'll be able to snag one for a bit cheaper of a price, personally, I think that's absolutely going to be doable. I think that those premium ones that are really, really cool, I think those ones are going to keep rising and not falling. But for the other ones that people are like, I got like 40 of them, I'm fine with kind of moving it, then that will kind of be open for it. But that's just kind of my take on it.
Hey, Steve,
I feel the
sorry
same
that
way.
I cut off there before.
No, you're chilling. You're all good.
Do you know what? Do you know where I had? Do you know where I left off? Like, I don't know what the last thing was you guys heard.
Oh, I totally.
Feel bad.
I have the world's worst memory, fam. I am so
Not a
sorry for that one.
problem. No, you're good. All I was summarizing was that Bored Apes represent community and this belief in decentralization, whereas CryptoPunks, and I'm glad that someone, that you guys, while I was gone, were talking more about me bits, because I didn't want to be the first one to bring it up, but I have a very similar reception to me bits, that it was really lame that they just allowed all the CryptoPunks owners to mint one for free, because they knew that a lot of them were just going to list it and make more money off of that. Yeah, exactly, JBB. You know, it really didn't sit well with me, and it's just unfortunate that temporarily took some of the thunder away from Bored Ape. But I think that Bored Ape will be sustainable, and that ultimately, like I said before, Bored Ape really is about community coming together and acceptance, and it's not necessarily the impression I get from other projects.
And on the topic of like other projects and whatnot, what's your guys' sentiment towards like the developers of this so far?
Honestly, they seem like humble people, man. They seem like real genuine, cool people. I've talked to them in a couple clubhouses. I'm pretty blessed. I actually have the number 15 honorary ape. It looks like LaMelo Ball. I've been messing with this project, I think, like 3-4 days before the pre-sale ended, and they've just been real dudes, man. Like they're just genuine, you know. I honestly believe like they love this product as much as anybody else that's spent whoever knows how much ETH on however many apes. So it's I have high hopes for it, but I'm not really. I just don't think it's gonna happen as quickly as it happened last weekend, you know. But now it's more so gonna slowly grow out. People that really want to get in are gonna just be sniping those nice little, you know, Dr. Berry whatever, you know, listings and all that, and just getting in. So we'll see.
So it's interesting you brought up the Dr. Barry thing there. They're gone right now from what we've seen. We've not seen really any kind of bids going on. How do you guys think that affects the pricing structure here? Is it like, okay, people, I think there was a sense of comfort when you could sit there and be like, I can just accept this offer right now. No harm, no foul. No, you know, wait till tomorrow, see what the prices are. It goes up, goes down. I will just hit that, accept the offer. But with that not being present right now, is that a problem?
I mean, I personally feel like you said, the more expensive apes are in the hands of the diamond hands for real, are in the people that are going to hold them and really appreciate them. Maybe for like the lower, you know, the regular apes, yeah, that might be a problem. They might just start tanking a little bit for, you know, the next little bit of time. But I don't know. I mean, I do think the bots have moved up to the meat bits just because it's a bigger flip. I do remember some of the floor of the meat bits were like 0.8 at one point. So, you know, that's really all they're doing, man. At the end of the day, I feel like organic growth is better. So if we actually have people that are just waiting on the web for a new Twitter picture and ready to pay a certain amount, you know, that's better than a bot, you know, somebody that just program, you know, 1,000, you know, computers, you know, 1,000 bots just to click a button all day. So I feel like now we're going to actually see the product grow organically. But in that sense, you know, the prices will probably fall for a majority of the apes.
I may be wrong here because again, I didn't participate in the CryptoPunks ecosystem at all or that culture. But going back to the devs, Gordon was present in a few of the clubhouses that I was in, similar to Ben, and you can just tell he's authentic, he's genuine, he's a real person, and I'm sure the other devs are exactly the same way. Where I messaged Gordon on Discord. um, I think originally when I got the Trippy Cyborg game, and I was really excited about it, and I shared my excitement with him and my appreciation that they started this project, and he was so authentically grateful and taken aback that things had gone in this direction, and that it was such a positive movement, and it was just so cool to see that that type of reaction from someone who had just made an insane amount of money through what they had created, and they still were down to earth. And then, like I said, when he was in the clubhouse, they were doing some fun things, and he was participating right along with them. He wasn't up on a pedestal. He wasn't, uh, you know, on his high horse or anything like that. He really was just one of, you know, he puts himself on, and I'm sure the other devs as well, they put themselves on the same level as their community.
I love that. Jeremy, thanks so much for joining us, boss. I wanted to kind of ask you a question here regarding some of the art, because, you've said earlier when we had that artist in that you're more of a designer, you call, than kind of like an artist. In terms of the pricing that you're seeing on some of these projects, do you think that they're adequate? Or if I was to say to you, hey, Jeremy, I want to make sure that I don't really get ripped off, but I love these new cool projects and I want to get something for my, ape, what do you think is a respectable price range that we should be looking at right now with all these new things coming out?
So yeah, just to try to not make this into a long answer, but one of the things I really liked that y'all mentioned was that, I personally don't like the derivatives that come out as a whole collection. They drop all 10,000 apes and they just remix them, right? Without asking anybody for permission, without even asking Bored Apes or whoever else. But if they're going to like specific owners and Bored Apes and, hey, we'd like to do this, we want to work with you guys, this would be something cool for the community. Those are the projects that I like. So to get that out of the way, then the other thing is I really don't think that you can go past really maybe 1.2x like the retail price of them for something that I respect, right? Like I wouldn't pay more for something that like you minted the ape for, right? Unless crazy artists, sure, like those guys, they can demand it. They got better stuff to do with their time. They can earn more money. I think the hand drawn stuff like that can command a little bit more, right? So the 0.1 and all that stuff, that's cool. But when it's digitally generated, when it's AI generated, when there's not really any effort behind that, that's where I definitely wouldn't pay any more than what I minted the ape for.
JV,
and that's just a general rule of thumb for like any project like this.
Yeah, for sure. JVB, for you, do you think that you would care about getting some kind of thing done for your ape, or you have the mindset that, okay, I got like the OG thing and that's it?
I mean, if someone starts pumping out like a lot of different NFTs or derivative work or merchandising in any form that is based off of my ape's likeness, I'm going to be a bit agitated if they do it without my permission. And I'm going to ask them for, a small percentage or something. But I think that most people in the community right now who have apes will agree that they have ownership over their ape's likeness and can control that from merchandising standpoints. And I think that because of that, we're all kind of obligated to stand up for each other and also protect each other's interests in that regard. So, if it's someone like, if I ask people to make stuff and it's cool and they put work into it and then they sell it, that's great. That's fine. I have tons of friends who are artists and it's hard work, and I'm not as talented or as creative as certain people are. And when they put their work in, they should be able to sell it, have profits and, afford to live. but there have to be boundaries with this.
For sure. And P-Boy in the chat says, for Jeremy Will said, asking for permission from original collection owners is paramount to derivative work. Example, Monet masks for hash masks, or graffiti Bored Ape Yacht Clubs for Bored Ape Yacht Clubs. Commission. Monet mask offers 20% commission to original hash mask owners. And so, actually, this is a good point, because hash masks, I would say, if we're going to look at the entire scene here, would you say that it went kind of CryptoPunks, hash masks, Bored Ape Club, or am I stepping out of line with saying that? In terms of like similar kind of artwork here.
I don't have enough experience with hash masks to answer that, honestly.
I don't really group them all together at all, just besides, unlimited print and run of unique NFTs. But other than that, I don't think they fit together.
Nope, fair enough. I just mean like in terms of, I remember when hash mask came out, we had like the New York Times Square or whatever with the big poster, and it was a really big thing, and it started kind of like blowing up in a way, and it was cool, but I felt like I wasn't able to really connect with the majority of them, and I went back and looked at it last night actually, and I was like, yeah, like I really don't connect with this, and I feel like, I don't know, like a sense of emotion in a way to a lot of these apes, which is kind of really, really cool on that front.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing about art, though, is like you're 100% right, and somebody who loves hash masks and doesn't get apes, they're 100% right. Like it's just all up to you, baby.
For sure. And then J-Berm saying, what happens when the ape is sold but permission was already given by the previous owner? Yeah,
so they've talked about that in the clubhouse a couple times. They just tend to say, like, if you and somebody, like an artist, are working on minting a collection of your apes, the ones that have, like, if you sell yours, the ones that have already sold, they're fine. But, it would be the respectable thing to stop selling that collection, cut it off because you no longer own that ape. So, I mean, those things do have to be policed by the community, and it's all about, how people feel. Of course, some people are going to do what they want no matter what. But, for me, like, if at this point, I only have apes that I want, so I'm not gonna let go of any. But if somebody wants to throw me 100 ETH for an ape, shit, they might just get it. But I would, just stop. If I have minting like a 24 collection of my, leopard ape, and I'm only at 8, I would just cut it off then, and all the 8 owners have it. The person that buys the ape would already know that the collection is being made, So it's all that is how the community is going to view it, so it'll be different.
I think with as supportive and friendly and positive as this whole community has been, I would be surprised. I mean, there will be the people, right, who give an artist permission to create a derivative work based off of their ape's likeness and then sell it and maybe don't tell the buyer. But I feel that most people, like most of us, everyone on this call, most of the people I've spoken to in the forums would probably at least give a shout out and be like, hey, just so you know, I gave this guy permission to do something. If you're not okay with that, maybe talk to him and see if you can negotiate something. But I mean, you would hope, right, that at the end of the day, people would just give a little heads up in a situation like that, because that does have the ability to get a little messy, I think.
One thing I wanted to draw attention to is there's the derivatives that are minting in bulk and going on OpenSea, but what I'm actually more interested in and more excited for are the different kind of like one-off projects or the independent artists who aren't looking to do a bulk volume sell and are doing things on more of an individual basis. So for example, my background for my Trippy Bored Ape initially was gray, which was probably, the most boring color it could possibly be with all of the other color that was already in the ape itself. Mm-hmm. So I wanted a background made, and based off, community recommendation, because that's what's happening with Bored Ape is other artists are being discovered and recognized for their work. I was able to find someone on Twitter, and he created a background for my ape that really brought its entire story together. And, it has the cyborg guy, so it's almost like this dystopian, transhumanism space thing, and so he put my ape in space, and now I'm in love with it even more. So I'm excited for those opportunities for people to discover, and I'm also excited for another opportunity I heard about was a virtual ape rock band that's being created. And there are going to be more projects like that, whether it be animation, cartoons, YouTube videos, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And that's not something that we've seen from a lot of other NFT projects where they led to more right, we've seen the derivatives on OpenSea, but we haven't seen a lot of more creative ideas like a virtual rock band being made of ape rock stars. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the rock band thing, imagine, they make a YouTube channel, they throw out some tracks, some beats, lo-fi beats that are in the roadmap. Let's say you stake your ape, right, for the royalties that are made from that track. Right, that's something that you could do as well.
Or another idea, we already saw it with Zed Run. People have land in these decentralized universes like Decentraland, and they were hosting amphitheaters and just streaming races. And there were people and I think they were even charging admission, which is great that people are able to come up with those creative opportunities. And what I'm thinking is that we might see apes be the subjects for Broadway style shows in the metaverse.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's possible. It's possible for sure. Is anybody on Decentraland by any chance?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I did go to that to the little horse amphitheater, and it's pretty well built, man. Like it's ridiculous. Like there's so much potential in these type projects because you just never know. Like,
yeah,
I feel like the apes truly empowered the creators because there's just so many things you could do. There's one person that's turning his apes and his friends' apes in the clubhouse that I was in into Mortal Kombat apes, and it's very, very good art. Like it looks like what your ape would look like if it was a Mortal Kombat character. Mm-hmm. So that's those type of projects are gonna be very interesting because, like you said, that's really one thing that I really like about this community is you don't see that with other projects. Like people aren't branching out, expanding. We have a song that should be dropping later tonight, just about the Bored Yacht Club, just apes and how your ape is bored, and it's just so much. Just so many things you could do with apes.
Yeah, and just to jump in super quick, if you guys would like to put your Twitter here in the chat, we have some people just asking who's on the call right now. So just kind of to go around the table, we got JVB up here in the top left. We got Jeremy NFT here in the middle. We have NFT Anonymous over there on the right. And then we have Ben from Top Shot East Coast. Down here in the bottom, and all of us, I guess, kind of started within Top Shot, and all of us really, really connected here with the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So if I happen to have any viewers in right now that you're like, what the hell, what are we talking about, what's going on, there is a new NFT out there, which is the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So there's a bunch of different ones. You might end up kind of connecting with some, you might not end up liking them. It's all over the place. Some people are calling it the CryptoPunks 2.0. Ultimately, for me, I'm like, hell, I'm going to use this as a profile photo. We ended up picking up Johnny Knoxville 2.0 yesterday. So shouted him out on Twitter. Guy hasn't used Twitter in like a freaking year. But maybe if he decides to get in on this NFT craze, he'll come to me and want to buy this one day. And so this is kind of just what we're talking about. But you guys will see in the chat here, JVB's already kind of posting some of the Twitters. I'll make sure to get them out there, and then NFT Anonymous as well as just adding himself. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and everybody on the panel. Thanks for hanging out.
I appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Okay, so you're going to have to tie things back to the blockchain where permissions get transferred with the NFT. Yeah. Renaissance or medieval apes are all over the place. Oh, okay, I think we dropped a bunch of people. I was not intending on handing that.
You said you appreciate everyone coming out, and I guess everyone thought it was a goodbye.
Yeah. Everybody's like, peace. We'll see if they end up coming back, because I'm enjoying the chat. I think it's good, so I'm definitely down to stay on here. And somebody mentioned like a Bored Ape Yacht Club movie, and sorry if this was already talked about before, but I think that it would be wild that, like, in theory, if we had somebody that was like, genuinely good at animation and they made like an actual movie about this, to have like your ape is, in it, similar to, I guess, how like Smurfs is, had there's like a bunch of different variations of that. I don't know if it ended up being like a kids movie or whatever, but there's a lot of room to grow with this thing. So for you guys, just because you're the only ones left here on the call, oh my god, what do you think is going to happen in the future? Do we think, okay, there's going to be some people that have apes as a profile photo, that's it? Do we think this like liquidity pool and potential offers of them getting paired up with other NFT projects or blockchains? Because I have to imagine these guys got massive offers, or not massive, but like a large quantity of people saying, hey, would you want to pair up with us? We want to get exposure, or can we get to your audience base? Because it's a very select group of people. And I think in this, day and age, people want to advertise to a very, very specific group. And as we're seeing, we all came from Top Shot, most of us, and now we're into this. So we all have a very similar interest. So something that would match our interest would look at this and be like, holy shit, how do I get in contact with all these ape owners?
Yes. I mean, you would think so, right? The developers and the founders of this project have been so active in the community, talking to everyone, responding on Twitter, reaching out via DM, making honorary apes for early backers, that you would think they would be just as receptive to business opportunities that may present themselves. But like we all saw, it jumped up to number 2 on OpenSea in a period of under 48 hours. And then Meebits came along and it's chilling at number 3, but it's still at number 3 on OpenSea. And we'll see where it goes from here. But you would think that there would be a lot of people trying to get a piece of the pie, trying to get involved. Maybe people have ideas. I have a couple ideas for cool things to do with the apes. I know I saw someone write in chat a Broadway musical earlier, which I am not creative enough for, but a 2-hour-long opera or a musical theater would be hilarious. That would be funny. But yeah, I'm sure we'll see some collaboration. Zed Run has a partnership with Atari, and Atari Racing and casinos have posted stuff, and they have some partnerships in the works. So, maybe we'll see an Atari Bored Ape or a G Fuel ape. I don't know.
Yo,
I don't know what apes
that
are.
would be crazy. That would be really, really crazy. And I think it's cool that in a way, like even in the Discord, we have it set up where there's like a bot. If you type in something, it will go and check your wallet. And then if you own one of these things, it will unlock special chats for you. And I know it's probably not like that complex, but it's just cool that, for us, we have a free Discord server and we can like verify that, hey, you can, get access to this certain stuff. So I think in the real life terms, there's a lot of potential with it. I see some of you guys here in the chat saying this is the first project I've heard people passionate about and talking about that I have not wanted to jump into it. And yeah, no, like I totally feel you. It must be weird as you guys like are normally loving everything that we talk about, but you're still here. Like, I don't like this, but it's interesting to hear about for sure. But what if so Anonymous, I know that you keep talking about Clubhouse and whatnot earlier, I believe you were saying. Is there anything that we've not talked about so far that we should maybe bring up that's of interest?
When it comes to Bored Ape or just NFTs in general?
Well, I mean, I guess Bored Ape centric, but if there's anything else you think, hey, this is super important, feel free to give it a shout.
I think that we're going to continue to see a lot of new developments throughout the Bored Ape community, just based off the temperature, if you will, on Clubhouse. They're really excited about it there, and it's a lot of NFT artists where I'll admit, I go in a room and I get brought up to speak, and half the time I don't say a word because I feel so out of my element surrounded by actual artists. I have more of a sales and a marketing background, so I just like to almost be a fly on the wall in those types of spaces and hear all of their ideas. And right now, someone had already mentioned the Mortal Kombat style apes that are being created. I thought that was, pretty cool. And I'm sure there's going to be more stuff like that in the near future. Besides that, the one thing I would want to shout out, if anyone hasn't already heard, is Zed Run is doing their next horse drop on Friday. And I think that is going to be absolute chaos in the best way possible for that platform.
Love it. All right, JVB, you're huge into that. We'll kind of wrap it up here with a little bit of Zed Run talk.
Okay.
What do we need to know? What are you excited about? Are you going to sleep on Thursday night?
Oh, yes. I'm going to get a lot of sleep. I'm going to touch on one ape thing that hasn't really been discussed, and then I'll come back to it.
Yeah, for sure.
For those of you who are aware, Bored Apes had a small puzzle that appeared about 2 weeks before their drop, and it finished the night of the drop. I didn't find out about it somehow, or I wasn't paying attention until about an hour and a half before the last runner-up solved it. But in that hour and a half, I ended up solving one of the three puzzles and getting about 60% on the other two. So I'm feeling confident. Bored Ape Yacht Club is doing another puzzle at some point. It was one of the roadmap activations for the sales, and there will be a treasure hunt. The first person to solve it is going to get 5F and a Bored Ape, which is a huge prize. The last one was really challenging. They used some really advanced ciphers and stuff that were difficult to solve. They said that they're bringing in professional puzzle creators and people who do stuff like this. So I imagine that the next puzzle
GG, guys. I'm out. Bye.
Yeah, GG. But I imagine that the next puzzle is going to be very challenging, and there will be people in teams working to solve it. So I don't know who saw Twitter earlier today, but a number of us from Schiller's Discord solved the NBA Top Shot puzzle that was online, so I like our chances.
Yeah, I love that. The community, the whole NFT space right now is community, and NFT, as Josh said, is only as strong as its community. Guys, that's going to wrap it up from right now. JVB Anonymous. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time this afternoon. We'll have you back on sometime soon.
Take care, Schiller. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.
Alrighty, so that is going to be it for today. Oh my god.